It's time for the Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo review. For the Wii. I've always had a mild interest in this game since it was released, just because it's Dragon Ball. But now that the Magical Chicken has commanded a review, let's see how it turned out. This is a platforming beat-em-up. If you've ever seen Dragon Ball before, you can take a pretty good guess as to what this game is about. For those of you who don't know, Dragon Ball focuses on Goku's adventures when he was a child. The first level starts you out near a Red Ribbon Army base while Goku searches for the 4-star Dragon Ball. After a few levels, you'll quickly notice that this game's core demographic is for kids. This isn't a bad thing, but if you're not in that group, you may find this game too easy and possibly boring. Most enemies you fight aren't difficult, especially when you can just mash the attack button for easy kills. Speaking of which, the default button mapping has the A button for attacking and B for jumping. This is so opposite of what I'm used to, and if you're like me, you'll want to switch it before you begin the game. As I was saying, winning battles isn't a challenge. You can spam B in almost any situation and come out on top. There are a few different combos you can pull off by pushing up or down on the analog stick, but even this is a challenge when you first play. Because you're in a 3D environment, pushing up or down on the nunchuck will of course move you up or down on the Z-axis. But when you're battling enemies and want to perform a combo other than the standard B spam, your first instinct is to immediately push up or down to perform these combos, but by doing so you'll turn in a different direction and start punching the air. What you have to do is begin a standard combo, then push up or down when you're in the second or third hit. An up combo will launch enemies back and stun them, and a down combo will launch the enemy in the air. You'd think they'd be reversed. You can follow up with these two combos for finishing blows by pressing Z at the right time. Following up with these moves only work on minor enemies in certain boss fights, which sucks because now you have to grind out a win with basic attacks. As you connect hits, your ki gauge under your health will fill up. If you have at least one section full, you can launch Kamehameha waves which will hit any enemy in its path. It's nice that you can also follow up a standard combo with a Kamehameha. But even with these abilities, the gameplay is shallow because of the lack of attack combos, lack of AI intelligence, no throwing abilities, and you can't roll while guarding. This feature alone would have made the game more fun because even though enemies aren't difficult to defeat, if you get ganged up on, it can be tough to not get hit. Guarding won't save you from enemy power attacks, and your shield will break if it quickly gets hit too many times, so you'll try to escape, but in doing so, you'll get hit. Fortunately, if you die, the game is extremely forgiving and will start you back up with full health in the exact spot you died in. And to make it even more generous, the number of continues you use in a level doesn't seem to make much of an impact, if any, on your final grade at the end of a level. There are 9 areas, each with at least one level. The game will take you roughly 6 hours to complete, which isn't that long at all. Some of the levels near the end of the game aren't levels, but just boss fights. The last level in an area has a boss fight which can actually be a challenge. Once you beat a level, you'll be graded on how well you did, and your final grade will determine how much Zenny you earned. You can spend Zenny at a shop to unlock character models, cutscenes, music, and voice clips, but who cares about all that? You'll want to spend your Zenny on health upgrades for Goku first and foremost. I didn't like that health upgrades was the only thing you could buy that would help you in-game. No attack combos, techniques, or anything. This would have really helped stave off the monotonous repetition of each level. I also didn't like that a few levels weren't actually playable. All it was is a cutscene to drive the story along. Well, if it's just a cutscene, why is it portrayed as a playable level then? The cutscene should just immediately start at the end of the last level, not trick us into thinking it's another playable level. Throughout many levels, you'll find treasures to collect, which you can view later on. It was nice that the game lets you know how many you had left to find, if you cared enough to find them. The graphics and animations look great. They fit well for the Dragon Ball universe. Only thing I didn't like was the mouth movements for the characters within cutscenes weren't synced well at all. It's fine if the mouth movements are just flaps like an anime, but at least take the time to sync them up. The voice acting was spot on though, as expected. There's a 2-player tournament mode which is mediocre at best. The biggest problems are that of the main game. Not enough variety of attacks, no throwing moves, and no rolling while guarding. There is a special guard breaking attack, but playing this just makes you wish you were playing a better Dragon Ball game like Tenkaichi 3. Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo is a game only for young Dragon Ball fans. Honestly, it should have been called Dragon Ball Goku's Adventures Super Abridged version, because within the 6 hours of gameplay, you play through key areas only. Between each level, you're given a narration of everything you don't get to play. If the gameplay was given a heavy polish and more levels were available, this could have been a great addition to the Dragon Ball game library. Instead, it's a washed-down beat-em-up for kids that more experienced players won't find that appealing. It's not a bad game, but I'd much rather play other Dragon Ball games than this. This game gets a 3 out of 5 with the title of passable.